So guys, reclassifying or reclassing is the process of opting to hold a child back a year in high school or middle school so they'll have an edge athletically by being taller, larger, and more skilled than their actual peer group. Now guys, this is something that I feel like we've seen a lot over the past 20 years, and a lot of people actually think that reclassifying is something that is new, but truth be told, a lot of players that you actually see in the NBA and a lot of these collegiate players were actually reclasses, whether that is moving up a grade or just moving down a grade. A few examples of players that you may notice are players like Andrew Wiggins, Karl Anthony Towns, Gigi Jackson, and even a player like an Imani Bates. Now, reclassifying, in my opinion, has always been a touchy subject among the high school game. Some people just think reclassifying down a grade is essentially a weak move because you have the upper advantage over peers that are a few months younger than you, and the fact that a player couldn't stay with their normal graduating class, it just looks like a weak move in a whole. But guys, to be honest, I feel like there's many factors as to why players actually reclassify, and it's really not as simple as what people make it seem to be. Some people reclassify because they want more reps and they want an extra year to perfect their game. Some people want another year to rack up more college offers. So many different types of reasons, and the only reason why I bring this up is because the #1 point guard in high school in this specific moment in time, and a point guard that people are claiming to be is one of the best pure point guards in the last 10 years. He just reclassified to that 23 class, and he goes by the name of Mr. Elliot Cadeau. Now, I feel like in this specific moment in time, Elliot Cadeau isn't really like a household name, at least among the masses outside of the high school basketball world, but I promise you, stamp this right now, in a few months to a year, I definitely feel like everybody and their mama is going to be having this kid in their notes. Like I said, the subject of reclassifying has always been a touchy subject and an act that I feel like people just don't really understand to the fullest extent. For some players, it does work out in the end, and for some players, you would be surprised it does not end up like how people imagine. And I ain't gonna lie, I definitely feel like this is something that needs to be talked about. Guys, boom, in the comments section down below, you watching this video, I really want to know your honest 1050% honest opinion about players reclassifying. Do you think it's okay for players to reclassify up to get a head start to potentially make it to the NBA? Do you think it's a weak move for players to actually reclassify down and they're just a little bit older than their peers? Guys, what are your honest thoughts? Get in the comment section down below, and make sure to subscribe to the channel as we are on the road to 30 clay. See, players that actually reclassify up a grade to graduate early to get a head start, me personally, I actually don't find any problem with this move. You also notice that top players that end up doing this only perform this act because they are a lot better than most of their players in their respective classes, and they have a better chance of actually making it to the NBA instead of just wasting their time to potentially get injured in high school. If you have that opportunity, if you have the skill level, you might as well take that chance. Now, as of recent, a few popular players that you will notice that actually make this move are players like Gigi Jackson, Elijah Fisher, and Imani Bates. Guys, my boy Elijah Fisher, I'm pretty sure you guys remember him. We'll get a little bit more in depth with him a bit later, but like I said at the beginning of the video, for some players it does work out in the end, and for others it ultimately ruins their careers. And you will notice that a lot of these players think that they're ready or they're better than what they actually are, and it just does not work out. For players like Andrew Wiggins, Karl Anthony Towns, Jalen Duren, Jamal Murray, these are all guys that were ahead of their peers in their original classes, and they had chances of making it to the NBA. And you'll notice how they all had stellar performances in their freshman season. They went on to be top picks in each of their respective classes. Guys, to me, if you have the skill, if you have the size, if you have the IQ, you can withstand the physicality of the game, you have the mental capacity to play in the collegiate basketball game, I'm honestly here for that move. However, like I said, I feel like players just really need to understand the entire scope of the concept, and then just don't get too ahead of yourselves if you're thinking about reclassifying. Like I said, players like Elijah Fisher, Trayvon Duval, Imani Bates, they all reclassified, and it just did not work out for them, at least in that specific moment in time. And despite Imani Bates finally coming around, you got to be honest, he did struggle in that first year at Memphis after reclassifying up to that 21 class, and he was known to be the best prospect in the last few years. And then whenever he made the announcement to move up, I guarantee you nobody and their mama expected Imani Bates to struggle the way that he did in his first year. And same thing with Elijah Fisher, top ranked player in Canada. Canadians were calling him the best Canadian prospect since Andrew Wiggins, and right now he actually transferred away from Texas Tech to play at DePaul University. Like I said, for some it does work and for some it just does not. And I feel like if players are really going to make this decision to move up a grade to start their career early, understand what comes with the decision, and it's not all bread and butter. You still have to hoop, you still have to play, be mentally prepared, and most of all, be prepared physically out of all things. Elliot Cadeau, he's the latest player to actually make this announcement to reclassify up, and people feel like this was a smart move. In my personal opinion, this is a move, and clicking that red subscribe button is something that you need to be doing watching this video. We're on the road to 30K, man. Hit this red button. And if you love basketball, why not? It's free. But guys, like I said, in my personal opinion with Elliot Cadeau's move, this is a move that I feel like only time will tell. What did I say earlier? Most players that actually do reclassify up reclassify because they are physically capable. They can endure the size, they can endure the physicality, they're much bigger, etc., etc. You don't really see undersized guards, as good as they may seem, reclassified to start early. Elliot Cadeau is one of the best pure point guards in high school and now in college, and I definitely feel like him and Isaiah Kohler are the best two pure point guards in the game. But you gotta remember how hard it is to make it to the league as an undersized guard. I know Elliot Cadeau is listed as 6'1", but I don't know, 6'2", 6'1". To me, there's absolutely no way. He has to be at most 6 foot or maybe even 5'11". And as a player that's small, you have to really be able to shoot the rock and be able to not be too much of a liability on defense. And guys, do I think Elliot Cadeau is one of the best point guards in the 24 class? Easily. But he just needs to be prepared for the defensive end, and he has to figure that side out, especially being in a tough conference like UNC with the top teams that they're going to be playing. It's going to be a dogfight. I was honestly even surprised that he did make that move, considering the players that they currently have as well, with RJ Davis as their return starter and Simeon Wilcher, who people consider one of the best pure point guards in high school as well. So is Elliot Cadeau going to start? Is Simeon starting? Is Simeon going to come off the bench? Who's coming off the bench? How do you guys actually think this is all gonna work out? Do you think any of these players will transfer? I feel like overall with Elliot's decision, I think it was a great decision, mainly because I actually heard that he was a lot older than his peers in that 24 class, and he's essentially just reclassifying to his original class. I think they said there was reports he was born either 2004 or 2005, so if it's one of those, he's about to be 19. Guys, I don't know. Regardless, one thing for sure, two things for certain, Elliot Cadeau can definitely hoop, and he's one of the best players in high school heading into college next season. And I think he's going to actually be one of the best undersized guards and the next undersized guards to actually make it to the NBA, potentially even being a lottery pick in that 24 draft. Guys, do you think he's actually a better prospect than Sharife Cooper? I mean, Sharife Cooper, I feel like, is definitely one of the best pure point guards in the last 10 years as well, with his calm, cool collectiveness. He can do essentially everything on the floor, and as good as he is, he only ended up being the 47th pick in the NBA after averaging 20 points a game in college. And I think 7, 8, 9, 10 assists also at Auburn too. So as good as Sharife Cooper was, and the amount of points he was putting on the board, even attacking the rim and whatnot, and being patient, still being able to set up his teammates for success, and he was barely even got drafted. I do want to know how NBA scouts are going to be analyzing Elliot Cadeau. But guys, that's just my personal opinion. I think Elliot Cadeau can definitely be that next guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he got drafted in that first round or even the potential lottery. It's just going to be dependent on how the overall UNC team kind of orchestrates and gels together. But like I said, only time will tell. But guys, you watching this video, I do want to know your overall opinions about all this. How do you guys actually feel about players reclassifying up, down? What are your overall thoughts? Like I said, it's definitely a touchy subject. You know, some players end up being older than their peers, and people think it's a weak move. Some people think it's okay. What would you guys do with that if you actually had a kid? Get in the comment section down below, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, do all that fun stuff. And yeah, with all that being said, guys, more videos on the way. Summer is on the way. All that being said, guys, thank you for watching. Peace.